You?
You know,
You're going to go home. Your child's going to be fed. You're going to have food, organic food.
my child already has organic food, okay? A Sunday, you know how earlier you were talking about how all you did was cook? I mean, that's pretty much like all I do. Remember last time I told you, I feel like all I do is chop onions, celery, and carrots.
And I told you to buy pre-chopped onions.
Who does that? But I'm like,
you're complaining.
I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you, like, I just feel like all I do is chop onion, celery, and carrots. It's like, but maybe I should, when I buy them, just chop everything. So you just have it like all in just tray. So it's easy for me whenever I cook.
Right.
But I made,
What did
I cooked this weekend. I had to cook for the week. So it's easier for me when I get home. I just heat up instead of like cooking from scratch.
That's smart.
So I did that over the weekend.
If only I didn't have my... I don't know what is it with Sabina. I think it's me, right? Like, I'm the one that's always like attending to her, like at the first, like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? So now it's very inconvenient. I'm like, damn, I need to stop because...
Just now you figured it out. You're like, that's not a right thing to do.
Well, I mean, it was very emotional for me. It was an emotional thing for me. And now it's like, she does not want to be, like, I feel like she thinks I'm going to leave. She just wants to be holding my hand, walking around the house. Like,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah, walking around the house. Like, she just wants me to hold her hand and walk around with her.
What?
And as soon as I, like, leave a room, she just, like, throws herself on the floor and, like, Mama! I'm like, what
like
happened?
that?
And she's like, and she just wants me to hold her hand. Or, like, she gets in between my arms and my legs and she just wants to be there. Like, she wants me to sit down and just be with her. But I can't. You know, I wish. Like, there's some moments when I'm like, okay, let me sit down with you for 5 minutes, and I get really anxious because I'm like, I should be washing the dishes, or I should be cooking or something. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get up. And she's like, and it's just crazy. And I have to cook with crying all the time. Like, I'm cooking and she's crying and she's crying and she's crying.
And it's not really safe to have your child around when you cook. I mean, that's small. It really isn't. Like the other day, because I was cooking and then like I dropped my knife.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, thank God the baby's not here, because if he's just standing here, like, you know, I mean, stuff can happen. You can turn around, drop something. Like, it's just not safe to have your child in the kitchen. I think. Yeah. I believe, you know? Like, if they're like in an area, but if they're walking around, the other day when I dropped my knife, and I dropped it twice, I freaked out because I'm like, oh my God, like, thank God he's not here, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true. However, I do feel like with Krista, she's very safe. Like, even around, we have one bathroom.
I mean, it's different when it's like a toddler and then like a 4-year-old
all the time.
Oh, I don't know. I freak out.
Like, for example, like with my, we have one bathroom, right? And I curl my hair, or try to curl my hair often. And she knows not to come around that. And she knows that it's hot. Or she sees a knife and she's like, oh, that's for grown-ups, So
no, I get that. No, I get that. And you have to involve them in the kitchen and cook together. And I get that. That, to me, it's more about like the accidents that can happen with you.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you accidentally turn around and like with your hand drop something, or
that's true.
There's just like objects around the kitchen that aren't safe for them if something falls.
See, another point to me, then I can't cook. However, she no longer is on the bottle anymore.
Oh, that's great.
She's done. We're done with the bottle officially. It's been a week. No bottle anymore.
How old is she?
She's 20 months.
Oh, wow.
20 months. I mean, the doctor, I told you, the doctor was like, that's it. Like, her teeth and everything. And I was like, okay. So one day I just was like, no, there's no more. I don't know why. I'm like, no, ya se fue a dormir. The bottle ya se fue a dormir. Se fue a dormir. And she's like, okay. And every night she tries, teta. I'm like, no, ya se fue a dormir la teta. And then that's it. And I've seen that she sleeps longer now. Like, she doesn't wake up as often without the bottle.
How long has it been since she's been without the bottle?
A week, exactly.
Oh, wow.
But at the third day, it was done. We're done. No more bottle. I over the weekend, I was very tempted for nap time, because at nap time, she naps with me only on the weekends. And she didn't want to go to nap. And she asked me and at night it's different because it's dark. And so I tried to do the whole thing. And it was hard. And she fought it. And she got up like 3 times. Aww. And I would bring her back. She was crying. At the end, she just gave in. But that was hard. Nap time was hard without a bottle. Because every time I would just give it to her. And she would walk to her bed and go to sleep on her own.
Oh, wow.
So now without it, it was crazy. I was like, I don't know what to do, but we're done. And it's kind of like heartbreaking because I have to put them away. And I was like,
can I borrow your bottles?
Yeah, you can have them. Yeah, you can have them. I was thinking like, I need to like put them away and then bring them out again if I have another baby because those are the best bottles.
Yeah, because those are glass. And they I mean, all you have to get is just new nipples and then that's it, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Just the nipples. And I was going to get, I know you got the
sippy cup.
The sippy cup
he
part,
never
right?
Uses
yeah, so I was like, what's the point? Like,
he actually already learned how to use the cup by himself.
Oh, nice!
It's the cutest thing in the world. I know at school that's the way they drink it. With me, I always gave him that Lola cup because I like and it was easier for me. It was like a little straw. I wanted him to learn how to use the straw. The sippy cup thing on top of the bottles, I bought it, but he never used it. Now he grabs like a regular. And then he just sips it, and then like he lets it out, and he goes, ah. I'm like, you're the cutest little thing. You're like a little man.
I know.
He's so cute.
Yeah, so we're done with the bottle. That's it. And it's. Then I was thinking about what you said about the potty and how you're potty training Santiago already.
Uh-huh.
And I've noticed that she, like, when I go to the bathroom, I'm telling you, she's stuck to my leg, so she goes with me.
Damn, that's crazy.
So, like, I go, and she literally stands at the door, like, putting her hand in her mouth, like, crying, right? So she sees me all the time. And then when I'm done, she's like, pee-pee, pee-pee. And when Krista goes, she says that. So I'm starting to see that she notices.
Uh-huh.
But she's scared of the tall toilet. So I think with her, a little potty might work because at school they have the little tiny toilets, which is not helpful as a parent because I don't have a tiny toilet at home,
Right.
So I think I'm gonna have to get a tiny toilet for her so she can start sitting. I've started to like not use diapers on her like on the weekend, so her little booty can breathe a little bit more. And that's but she still doesn't. She still doesn't seem there yet, but I need to start with that.
Have you gotten the snaps from Lola?
Yeah.
Lola's Cocina. Shout out Lola, because Lola's potty training right now, and she's showing me pictures of poop Amado, and she like the other day she sent me a snap, and Amado had poop behind the door.
I saw that.
She's like, and I was like, dang girl. She's like, I find poops like randomly around the house. She's like,
my God.
She's like, it's just like warfare here. And she's like, how what does Rye say about potty training? And I don't know if like exactly what Rye says about potty training. All I can tell you, ladies, is what we're doing right now. I believe that's the Rye way because, well, that's the way it's being done right now. But so at his daycare, whenever they have a transition, let's say like when they're outside and they're going to go inside, that's a transition. So everybody goes to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And then so with him, they change his diaper. They change his diaper and then they offer him the toilet. And then he sits down and he pees and he poops. And then he gets up and then they put his diaper on and then he goes on his date, and then when they come back out, they offer him the toilet again, and he sits down and he pees. So it's not like he's potty trained. Like when I tell people that, they're like, he's going to the bathroom. Like, no, it's not like he tells me like, poo poo, and then he walks and then he sits down and puts his pants down.
It's kind of like a routine.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's more of like they offer it to him.
Right.
In transitions.
When I went to it's kind of the same thing when I went to the doctor because of my bladder problems. They told me that I had to educate my bladder, right? They told me that that's what they said because I was like, I'm having issues, my bladder. So they said, instead of waiting for the bladder to get full, you need to have a schedule. And so every hour, whether you want to go or not, you need to go to the bathroom. So I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, you start getting the cue of like, oh, bathroom pee, all of that stuff, and your body starts getting used to it. So
yeah,
maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. And of course it's going to be like a year-long progress, year and a half for him to actually like go on his own. He can't even walk yet. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the way you're doing it with him. He's right now 14 months, and he started doing that when he was 12 months.
Yeah, and he's only doing it at school, right? At home, he doesn't.
At home, I can't seem to
find the
transitions,
because he would have to be very consistent,
right?
Like,
so I can't really seem to find like. I do it right. I always do it before bath time that I do it, and he hasn't peed with me yet, but his nanny told me that she did it with him and that he actually did with her. And I was like, this little man.
By the way, you found a nanny?
Oh, by the way, I found a nanny. I'm so excited. So anyway, but that's kind of how we have been doing it. So if anybody is interested, whatever, you guys can do it that way. It's been working for my child.
Yeah.
Again, he's not potty trained, okay? He's not like, he's not going to the bathroom by himself.
Yeah, also first, I potty trained Krista when she was like 2.5, because that's when I was pregnant with Sabina, and I was like, I cannot have 2 diapers. Mm-hmm. So she was more advanced. She was already talking. She was already hiding when she was pooping. And Sabina, she doesn't hide. Like, last week when I went to vote last Monday, we went walking, and then we were walking, and all of a sudden she just stands and she's like, ugh! She poops, and then she just kept walking. Like, I was like, did you just poop? Or she was walking 3 steps, she would like poop, and then she would keep walking, and like, ugh! And then she would stop again, and then I was like, okay, she still has like no sense of any of that,
right?
She still, because I remember Krista would like hide. She would go in the closet. And then when she come out, she had pooped, and I was like, "Did you poop?" And it was those are the kind of like the cues that people talk about, like when they start like hiding or just like telling you to change them and stuff. Sabina does tell me when she poops after, but it's still very early. But since she's starting to notice at least the pee-pee, I'm like, okay, let me offer it to her and see if it works, but still, I think it's very early.
I think you can do it. My kids are at 12 months, but again, it's just offering it to them. And if they're interested, they do it. If they don't force them.
Yeah, I don't force
do you know? Them. So anyway, let's take a break, and we come back. We're going to come back with our fabulous guest this week, Paulina and Bricia Lopez. We'll be right back. We're back with our wonderful guest, Paulina Lopez. How are you? It is so nice to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here today.
Oh my gosh. I am excited to have you.
I'm excited to have you. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you.
Your time.
Oh, you're very welcome. When I got the call that you wanted me to be your guest, I couldn't believe it. I've been a fan forever.
I have a ringtone of my laugh.
I feel like I've known you all my life.
I know. Yeah. So, yesterday morning we woke up with a very, very sad news.
I know. 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row.
Really sad news.
Two really sad news. And I honestly, as we were talking earlier about what to say, I was really thinking, like, should we talk about this? Should we not talk about this? But I just think, I don't know how other moms feel about this, but yesterday as I was reading the news and, we were reading about the tragedy that happened in Orlando overnight, I just started crying all morning, and I was crying so much, and I was crying. My husband was like, "What's wrong?" And I told him about what happened, and I said, on top of everything that we have to worry about, on top of everything, we have to worry about these kind of things. And it's so, so sad that these things are more and more and more common. Was it 2 weeks ago that we had the shooting in
UCLA?
At UCLA? And we have two friends that have kids that go to a school for children at UCLA and talking to them about their experiences that their children went through that day. I think they were very, very traumatic for them.
Of course.
You know, they were not, I mean, they were in a dark room for like 3 hours in the floor in silence. They didn't eat. They had whatever they had around them to eat. You know, they were telling me that, you know, they had like fruit rolls. And I think the worst part and what I was really shocked was the fact that they couldn't even go to the bathroom.
Yeah, they had to use
and they had to use like a bucket or like the trash can to use the restroom
at UCLA.
Yeah, at the kids. And I was just thinking like,
so UCLA has an extension school that's a children's school. It's called
UCLA Lab.
The UCLA Lab, and it goes from kindergarten.
Yes.
Kindergarten all the way through 6th grade.
Yeah.
And it's really close to the engineering department where this shooting happened, where this person went to shoot an old teacher and then shot himself. And they had to lock down the entire university, including this lab center. And there were kids from kindergarten all the way to 6th grade that had to just stay inside and had to go underneath the desks, lock the doors, close the blinds, complete darkness for like, I think 3 hours.
3 hours. 3 hours. I was just thinking about what do you tell your children after that? Like, what do you tell your kids? What do you tell your kids when things like that happen, when they come out after, and what explanation do you give them? You know, like, because do you tell them, like, you know, do you tell them, you know, this person came and, you know, was killing people? What do you tell them? Like, what do you tell them when these kind of things happen? What possible explanation can you give them about the world that we are living in today?
I think one of the I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it to myself.
Yeah, and you know, on top yesterday, what happened? I couldn't even wrap my head around it. And just, you know, hearing all the news and imagine getting that phone call and all of these 50 people were like somebody's brother, sister, loved ones. And the feeling of not feeling safe anywhere, even though we want to fight it so much, you know, we try to fight it all the time and, you know, just go on with our lives and move on and try to live our normal lives. Like, where are you safe? Where can you be safe? Where, you know, I remember like growing up, it was like, oh, he's going to school, he's safe at school. Or, you know, and having that feeling of not having that safety anymore. It's so scary. And on top of all the other things that we talked about on the show, like, you know, just to keep it real with our kids about sex and all of these things. But how do you approach these things to your kids? You know, what do we say to them? You know, how do we handle situations like this when it's not like something that happened so far away that it wouldn't affect us anymore, but it's something that's like so close and every time is like closer and closer? Like, what do you do in these cases? You know?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah, because my daughter asked me yesterday in the morning, like, why are you crying, mommy? And I was like, I just read something really, really sad on the news. And she was like, what happened? And I said, well, you know, some people got hurt. And she just kept, you know, like now she's like
asking more
and more questions. And she was like, how did they get hurt? What happened? Did they fall? Or, you know, how did they happen? And I was like, oh my God, like she's starting to notice more things and more things and more things. And
so what did you end up telling her?
I just said, you know, a lot of people got hurt. Something happened and a lot of people got, I don't really know how to talk about this kind of things.
Yeah. So what did you tell her?
I said, you know, I said some people got hurt, honey. And that just made me really sad because I don't like to see it when people get hurt. And she's like, oh, Mom, I'm sorry. And, you know, she just came and sat next to me. And I was telling my husband, I said, I didn't mean to cry, but it was just very sad that I read that. And I just, for me now, it's not about, it was before, it was, when a lot of shootings happened a while ago, it was like, oh wow, that happened like so far away, and like, oh, I wish, or I hope.
Look, shootings have been happening for a very long time, and people get desensitized. I mean, this is the saddest thing to me is that no one will remember this like next week.
Yeah.
And maybe like I'm wrong to say that, because maybe some people that maybe live in Orlando would be like, how could you say that? Like, that's not true. In 2012, do you remember what shooting happened in 2012, Paulina? That when I read the news.
Yeah, was it the Sandy Hook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was children.
That was
and like, I had forgotten about that incident. Like, I genuinely had forgotten, maybe because I wasn't a mom then. But that was in elementary school.
Yeah.
And I feel like no one talks about that stuff anymore. Like, when was the last time there was like a Sandy Hook memorial or national news or every year or something, It's just like, to me, it's just crazy that's just that become like a way of life.
Right.
And our little sister, we were like on
a group text
with our siblings, and my little sister's like, dude, I'm not surprised that happened.
I know.
And the day before the Orlando shooting, there was a shooting that killed this artist. She was a YouTube singer.
No. She was a finalist on The Voice.
I know, but she was a huge YouTube singer.
Oh.
She was a huge YouTube star.
Oh.
That happened to get on The Voice, and she went really far, but she had already a huge YouTube following.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, and then someone just went up to her and just shot her, and then shot him, and then shot himself. And then like my husband told me that, I'm like, whoa, I was like, that's crazy. And then the next day this happens. And then we find out that like someone had explosive in Santa Monica. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like what is going on in this world? Like, but then like I also ask myself, have things like this always existed and we were just not aware of them? Or are these things that are like new? I don't know. I don't know the statistics enough to say. But there's always been violence in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Hiroshima. That was an atomic bomb that dropped on like another country. And then people forget that. You know what I mean? And that wasn't that long ago, if you think about it.
No.
It
was not that long ago.
Hiroshima happened in 1945. That was not that long ago.
Less than 100 years ago.
Yes. People are still alive that went through it.
Yeah.
That was an atomic bomb that dropped in another country. I mean, like, talk about a mass shooting. That was just like annihilation of like a whole city.
Yeah.
So like, there's always been violence. There's always, how do you explain to a child that a bomb just dropped in another country? So like, I don't know the right way of explaining violence to a child. How do you explain hatred? How do you explain what happened in history with Hitler?
Yeah.
How do you explain genocide? How do you explain and I'm not by any chance saying like this wasn't a big deal. I think this was, the biggest mass shooting in the U.S. and like they keep escalating. Sandy Hook's elementary was 25 kids, children. Then it was like 35 Virginia Tech, and then there was San Bernardino, and then there was this one, like 50. Like, how many lives does it take for it to be like, holy, like this is like a huge problem? Because I feel like that's a thing. Like, people just forget about it.
Yeah, it was really when Elizabeth told us that the message, like, oh, I'm not surprised. I was shocked because I was like, what do you mean? Like, how was it? She was like, I'm getting desensitized to these things. And I'm like, I wonder how many people from her generation are going the same, are going through the same thing. Like, oh, damn, another one. But, you know what I mean? Like, not that she doesn't care. I'm sure she cares, but it's happening so much nowadays that, they're like getting used to it. Like, what's going to happen to our kids? Is that going to be like a normal thing for them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that going to be that's what I was starting to think. And not just that, but everything around it, like the motives behind it and all of that. And I was just thinking, because I was looking through Facebook and stuff, and I was looking at some things that some family members were not about the same situation, but I think they're passing laws in Mexico, new laws, and I was looking at things that my own family members were putting in. I was like, I don't get your thinking. Like, I don't get how you think like that. Like, I'm very, very glad that my children are growing up in this world or culture where, she doesn't see differences between her and other people. At least, right, she's a child, but her and her friends are friends, and they don't matter what they look like, they don't matter what color, they don't matter anything. To her, they're all kids, and they play together, and she doesn't really care about like what family they come from or anything like that, and I see the potential of me keeping it that way. And that I was thinking that has a lot to do with me and how I talk to her about the situations, and I shouldn't make it awkward, or I shouldn't show her the differences, or you know what I mean? Like, I was just thinking that my children are growing up in a totally different world than I did. And I'm glad that they are, and I'm glad that they don't see differences, and I'm glad that they see everything differently. And I have a really hard job to keep it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard. It's going to be, I have to like leave a lot of old ideas behind, like, I'm telling you, there's our family members that are, our age, and they're over there in Mexico. And I'm like, wow, we would have very, very interesting conversations with them, like about why do you feel like that? And
I honestly wouldn't even engage in conversations like that.
No, but you know what I mean? These are close family members. They're close family members.
Right. I still wouldn't.
No, I know, but I was just thinking how different our kids are growing up. They have kids, I have kids, and I was just thinking like it's very different, I don't engage, I just see it and let it be, but I was thinking like, oh wow, like that's a really huge difference, that the way that my children are growing and the way their children, I'm sure they don't worry about shootings, and we have to worry about that. But you know what I mean? Like it was just like I started to think about all these other,
I mean, they have other things to worry about, like not having food and corruption.
Yeah, they do. No, they do. But I was just
discrimination.
They do. They do.
Almost in borderline segregation in Mexico. I mean, there's other things.
There is other things.
So I'm just saying, like, that's the thing. I'm saying that, like, I think like the genuine, like, I think like at the root of everything is just explaining to children what violence is and where it stems from and why it happens.
Yeah. Tolerance.
Yeah. I think like, and last week when the ladies from La Libreria were here, we spoke about our responsibility, like the responsibility that parents have. We specifically spoke about the responsibility that mothers have when they have, and fathers, when they have sons.
Right.
Because we have to teach them how to respect women. And women with daughters have to respect themselves and other men and other people in general. But I think like every parent has a responsibility to embed their children love inside of them for others and respect, to love thy neighbor. We don't want to sound all like religious or anything, but honestly, like if we all learn to love our neighbor despite of our differences, like we can change the world that way. And that's the only thing that we can do. And then when violent things happen, we just say sometimes not everybody loves another person, and bad things happen when that happens. I don't know what I would say to what I would have said to my child if he would have asked me about yesterday. I don't know what I would have said to my child if he would have been at UCLA lab and he had gone through that same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't know, but I think that at the root of everything, we need to we have the responsibility to teach our children love and tolerance, and to love their neighbor, to love everyone. Sometimes people are not going to like somebody else, but that doesn't give you the right to hate them.
Right.
And people that commit these sort of crimes have other issues inside of them that come from generations before them, issues that they haven't been able to deal with,
right?
And instability and hate inside of them that comes from somewhere else, and ultimately it results in things like what happened.
Yeah.
But like, and the feeling of not feeling safe is the worst feeling, because it's like, then do we go to Disney? Do we go to public events? Do we go to things? And living in fear is the worst way of living, period, as a country, as people, as anything. So if you let them, that's sort of how, it's not like that you let them win that way, but you kind of do let them win.
Yeah.
They're forcing us to be afraid.
Yeah.
And in a country in state of fearness, it's the worst country to have, especially during this time. I mean, I don't want to get all political, or anything, but it's just really afraid. To me, it's scary to think that we're going to be living in fear.
Yeah.
And I want to be aware of things that are happening, like these shootings, but at the same time, I want to be able to not live in fear.
I think because I have gone through situations where I've been living in fear, like for like when the social services, and then the other time that I was followed home by some creep, and I have lived situations like that. When I live like that, I think it hits me really close. And during those times, I try to stay really strong for my kids. But then, it's like, it takes me back to feeling like that. And it's a horrible feeling to just feel like, oh my God, should I go here? Should I go there? Like, am I safe anywhere? Like, I'm not even safe at home. At times I felt like I wasn't even safe at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though you don't, like you said, you don't let them win. And that's why I stayed, and I'm still living in the same place, and I moved on with my life and all that stuff. It's tough. And I just feel I sympathize a lot. It's a totally different, totally different situation, of course. But just, I guess, that point, like, I don't want them to live in fear. And I think that's my fear, for my kids not to live in fear. And I think that's my whole, like, what I've been thinking over and over again, like, oh my God, like, what can I do to avoid that? Well, there's really nothing you can afford. So I think, like, fear is just, it's a horrible thing. But I mean, people that have anxiety have fear of even leaving their house because they might get run over by a car. Yeah. Fear of tripping and hitting your head and getting a concussion. I mean, you can have fear of so many things if you really start thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that have fear of flying, which makes sense, right? Like, you're in the air, you're not in control. Fear of going in a boat. Fear of like going into the Ferris wheel. Fear of heights. I mean, there's so many different types of fear. There's fear, like, I think I heard also that this artist, I forgot his name, Zayn or some, he's dating Gigi Hadid. Anyway, he has a song on the radio, and he canceled his performances because he talked about having really bad anxiety, and after what happened, like, his like anxiety is just taking a toll on him because he just doesn't feel safe in public places anymore. Oh wow.
I mean, and I started thinking, like, what about like artists who are like in front of mass amount of people?
Yeah.
And they can just, I mean.
Well, remember at Beyonce's concert, the whole thing with the purses and everything, like,
But I mean, what stops someone from going to a Beyonce concert or any concert with a shotgun and is shooting people like crazy? Like, nothing's stopping people from doing anything. And like, we can't live our lives in fear. You know, I mean, like, all we can do is pray for the families. All we can do is pray for the world, pray for the people, and be more aware of what's happening, get educated on what's going on, and, change the world through our children by teaching them love and teaching them respect. But again, like, a country living in fear is the worst type of country to be in. Like, a state of fear isn't healthy. Yeah, for the nation.
You're right. When I was thinking about this, I was like, the only thing that I can do really is try to teach my kids not to do the same. Or try to. I can start in my little world, which is my family, and just teach them to be tolerant and teach them love and all the things that you just said. That's the only thing that I was like, okay, if a lot of people want to just make changes from one day to the other one, and it's not, unfortunately, that's not how things work, and it's not going to happen. But where we can have a change is in the house. It's inside our house. It's just teaching our children to just be, like you said, to love the rest of the people around them, and that's all we can do at this point. And hopefully their generation will change if we do that, if we are all aware of everything that's happening, and we try to, put that in their heart or teach them how to do that. And, I think, at least with my kids, I think I'm seeing them, just like I said, they're not aware of differences. And I hope they can stay like that and just see people as people. And hopefully when they reach an adulthood, they can be a change. Then the world can be different, because something has to happen, at some point. Hopefully, because I'm sure when we were kids, really bad things happen. And look now, there's more things. And maybe we're more aware because of social media and all of that stuff. And maybe it's always been there. And I think,
violence has always been there.
Yeah.
Look at what happened in Mexico City when they shut off all the Tlacueliaco. What's the name of that university?
Oh, yeah. In the 60s?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Wait.
Tlatelolco.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
How many people? That was a shooting too.
That was a huge shooting.
Look at the missing of the 40. Imagine?
Yeah.
Look at the 43. That was a big movement that happened.
Yeah.
There's violence everywhere.
There is violence everywhere.
There is violence everywhere. And again, it's about being aware of it. It's about paying respects to it. It's about not forgetting about it. It's about like making a change through loving other people. And we all have preconceptions of people as we get older. Those things happen, and getting rid of those things and not being and sometimes making racist jokes or sexist jokes or things like that might be funny, because you might think like, oh, this is funny, but like it's not funny anymore. Those are the kind of things that we as people can change. And like if you talk about your child and having those sort of preconceptions right now and seeing people as people, the only way kids are going to continue to be that is if they see their parents being that way.
Yeah.
So we can't change unless we change ourselves.
Right.
So that's the only thing that we can do.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I'm thankful for living in this country, because you're open and you get sensitized of other people. Like before, when we lived in Mexico, people in Mexico are very, we make jokes about everybody else. But when you come here and you meet people, you stop having those prejudice thoughts, because you meet them and you see them. And I think that's one thing that's helped me a lot too, just getting to know people for being people. I had a play date yesterday with 2 other families, and we're all completely different, but we were there all having a great time and being friends, just as friends, and our kids were playing, and it was like really fun. And we were talking about this too. And we're like, I'm glad that we can all be here in the same table right now and be friends, and that we're just thankful for that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's just about getting to know you and just see you for who you are, and like I said, I just want, it's hard, but
all
I want
we
my
want,
kids.
like every mother wants a safer place for their children.
Yeah.
It's again, I don't know the statistics, but I feel like I live in a pretty safe world right now. Some people might be like, oh my God, no, you don't. I'm like, but
yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. At least we don't have bombs dropping on us.
Yeah. I'm free to do everything. I have freedom of speech. I have freedom of religion. I have freedom to say whatever I want. We live in a pretty cool, safe place, you know?
Right.
So
I think it's just like overload, when something like this happens, you just get overloaded with like information, and these things do like put fear in you, like
we can't let fear win. We have to just put love out and just lead through example.
Well, thank you. No, seriously, because, like, I started the conversation, like, being like, oh my God, the world's going to end. And now you made me feel better. Like, oh, it's not all bad. You know what I mean? But it's about that. It's about having a conversation and talking about it, because sometimes you stay with an idea, or I would have gone on with my day just thinking like, oh my God, I need to be home and just
donate blood, you guys. Please, if any of you guys are able to donate blood, I think Orlando still needs a lot of people who have been shot, who were shot. Go and donate blood and donate to the Red Cross, and that's the way you always give back. Just give back. Give back to the family, send out prayers, and figure out a way to help, because I think as a nation we just need to come together.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back with our Patterns to Pattern segment, brought to you by Seventh Generation.
All right.
Yes, I would. Actually, one of the patterns that I wanted to change for our family is
like our family or your family?
Our family.
Okay.
Our family. Today, Mom told me a story that she was going through with her family. And then I just realized that we need to be more in our family in general. When something wrong happens, we tend to just really have big emotions, almost like children.
Yeah.
And scream out things we don't mean, and say things that just can be hurtful. And I think that as if the first people, I think that we need to be a little bit more pragmatic when it comes to fighting with family members. Seeing or with friends, with anybody really.
With anybody.
Okay, I'm angry. Sit down and ponder. Why did this make me angry? Or say why did that person get angry at me? Have a little bit, before you start going crazy, I feel what happens to me, and that's the thing that I'm working on, especially with my husband. Every time there's an argument or something, I take time to see, okay, why did this make me angry? Did it make me angry because I've told him many times to not do something and he did it again? Did it make me angry because I feel like it's not fair? And why do I not feel like it's fair? Do you know, I feel like it's we need to psychoanalyze ourselves before jumping into conclusions.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like in our family, we're very sometimes
I don't know the word in English, but it's called visceral. It comes from our stomach. We just explode.
Yeah, or sometimes we're pues si no quieres, entonces adiós. It's very much like that. Pues entonces no. We're very much like that.
Yeah.
Or no sé, yo no sé, así eres, no sé. I hate those answers now. So I'm let's just sit down, figure out what's happening. Almost like if you're a therapist.
Oh God, that's tough. I have a huge problem with that. So that's a good one, because I need to work on that as well.
Yeah, we should be a little bit more smell the flowers, blow the candles.
I know what you mean. Yeah. What Mom's going through, I just when she told me also, I was like, I don't think it's quite like that, but I can see how things explode out of nowhere. But yeah, it's very easy. I think it's like a defense mechanism for us to hurt other people. So if you want to say something, I already hurted you, so you can't really say much. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's why.
And also bringing things from the past.
Oh.
I'm very lucky to have the husband I have. He's very pragmatic. I think I'm learning from him, because
that's good.
He's I can't really bring anything from the past, because he'll be he already told me that that's not fair. And I know husbands talk about that stuff, but I really listen, and I'm yeah, I really can't I forgot the other day I asked him if I was would you like to come to the parenting class with me? I'm he's I really don't want to go, but is this one of those things that if I say no, later you're gonna throw it in my face? And I'm I don't do that anymore. He's you're right. I'm but I'm glad that we're able to say that to each other.
Yeah.
Because even if I wanted to, now I can't.
You're right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm working on
sometimes,
that.
yeah. So I don't know if like the specific pattern, but you know what I mean?
But I get it. I get it. I think
get
the
it,
listeners will get it too.
You guys will get it, right? You guys will
I get it. I mean, I do the same thing all the time. Believe me. Like, I stopped bringing things from 10 years ago. Now I keep it like 3 years, and, from here. 3 years to
3 years
now.
on.
3 years to now. And so I'm working on that. I know what you mean, because it's like, he's like, okay, like him and I were like, really? We're talking about the same thing again? And then we're like, okay, let's not bring that up again. So I'm more aware now, but you're right. You're completely right. Yeah. I think your husband should give like couples counseling or something.
He's
like
really
that.
good. He's really good.
Couples counseling.
But he's just, again, he's very pragmatic. Do you know? He's very much like, okay, like if I blow up, he'd be like, okay, where is this coming from?
Is he a therapist?
I'm like, well, let me think about it. Where is it coming from? But again, like he doesn't really, he helps me kind of like work
navigate
through my work through my feelings and see exactly like, and I feel like that should be like that with like our friends or family members or
You know what? Like on Saturday night, I went on a dinner with Betsy. Hi, Betsy. And I was talking to her, and then she would ask me, but why do you think that is? All the time, And I was like, oh, damn, I have to like really think about it. And I would give her the answer, and she was like, well, why do you think, she would just keep asking that. And I was like, damn, you're good, girl. Damn. Like, all right, I just worked out all of my issues. I don't have any more issues. Thank you.
Let me buy you dinner. How much was this therapy session?
Yeah, but like she's good at that stuff. And now, instead of just, I think I'm the kind of friend that would be like, damn, really? You know what I mean? Like there's that kind of conversation where
you shouldn't, by the way.
Yeah, I shouldn't. But but she was just like, but why do you think, or do you think, she would give me another example. But do you think if you would see it from this view? And I was like, didn't think about that. But that I see.
That's a good friend.
That's a good friend. She's a really good friend. Thank you, Betsy.
All right, ladies. For more information on Seventh Generation, please visit their website, seventhgeneration.com. And don't forget to hashtag us every time you use their products or if you buy their products and love them, just like my sister and I do.
I do.
Hashtag Super Mamás Generation and let us know what you like this week. Mm-hmm. I just realized that they changed their bottling on their dishwashing soap.
Oh,
now
really?
the bottle is clear. Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I still, because I buy the huge ones.
Yeah.
So I still have some.
Yeah. So it's clear now. They have a new dishwashing packaging. Yeah, it's super cute. I'm like, oh, it actually looks nicer on my thing.
I want to check.
I like it because you know how I always like to rearrange crap around my house.
Oh my God, you told me that you're gonna rearrange your house again. We should have a whole episode on that.
On my issues of rearranging stuff.
Yeah.
So like the fact that now it looks different. I'm like, oh, it's a different.
Is that why you decided to change your whole house around the dish soap?
Maybe. All right, guys, we'll be right back. With our pick of the week, with our Super Mama pick or tip of the week. And I'm trying to find my phone because I want to know what I bought last week to tell you guys what my pick is. Paulina, do you want to go first?
You know how because we do not have a bottle anymore. Mm-hmm. I have looked. I don't know why with Sabina was so hard to find. You put it inside. Uh-huh. I don't know why with Sabina it was so hard to find like a right sippy cup, right? So then we just decided to not buy a sippy cup,
right?
And I don't know when a while ago, because I actually just found that on my in between all the cups that I had. This it's called the Munchkin Miracle 360 sippy cup.
Oh, really?
And it's actually not a sippy cup. I don't know how to explain it. So it's a cup, and it has it has like a cover, but it has like a million little holes.
Oh,
in it.
yeah. So when they drink, like the water doesn't go all the way; only a little water comes
Yeah,
in.
yeah. It's
Yes.
I'm gonna put the link because
I should buy one of those.
yeah, because my whole thing with the sippy cups and the advantage of it was like at night, before she goes to sleep while we're reading or something, right before we brush her teeth, she always likes to lay down, and I was like, she can't lay down with a cup. Because it'll be all over her. So with this one, the water, the milk comes really slowly, but it's actually a cup, but it doesn't have like a nipple or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's work amazing. Like it replaced bottles, sippy cups, anything for night. During the day, she uses the regular cups. For at night, she's been using that. And I didn't I bought it. I don't know how long ago because I just found it. But I started using it, and it's amazing. It doesn't spill all over the bed, and it still holds the milk in the cup. And so that one I recommend if you don't want to buy nipple cups. It looks just like a regular cup, but it has a.
We've given so many cups. We've made so many cups advice.
Well, you need different cups for the kids for different things, So this one I really like, and it's easy to wash and no straws. I hate washing straws. So, that one I love, and I was like, oh, I should tell the moms about this cup.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's only like $7 or something like that.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, thank you.
The pack of 2 is $13.
My little son would say. My pick this week, it's gonna be soap.
Soap.
Have you heard of the black African soap?
You know who told me about that? Our friend China.
Uh-huh.
She did tell me.
Oh,
Hey, China.
I love black African soap.
She told me it was really good for psoriasis.
Oh, really?
My husband has psoriasis, and he has a lot of, skin issues.
Uh-huh.
So she told me to get that for him.
Well, I just use it for myself. And I haven't bought it for the past month because I had free soap that I got. And I ran out of soap, and I realized how much I miss my black African soap after not using it for a month. It's almost like I don't feel clean if I don't use it now.
Really?
It's so weird. Because
I'm looking for a soap for myself.
Because I would buy this one I've been buying this one for a while, and again, I didn't use it, and I missed it. So I just ordered, and I'm looking forward to showering tonight because I know I'm getting my soap delivered tonight.
What does it finally smell like?
It's hard to explain. I don't know if all different soaps have different scents, or different black soaps have different scents, or...
I mean, what does it smell like?
It smells clean.
It smells clean. Like, como zest? Clean?
Just clean. And this one is called the Dudu Osun Black Soap.
Huh.
And my husband even has like a song for it.
He does?
But yeah. He was like ding 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 ding, something like that, because the name is Dudu Osun, so he made a song. I don't know. Anyway, not important. It says that it's for the face and body wash. I only use it for my body. I use it for my face. Nourishing, protecting, and refreshing your skin. Each soap bar contains shea butter, aloe vera, and citrus juices.
Yeah.
Helps reduce scars, rashes, and irritation.
I'm telling you, she told me for the psoriasis.
Can act as a skin cleansing system, leaving skin and hair clean and fresh. I don't use it for my hair. I don't use it for my face. I only use it for my body.
Do you feel like...
And I love it.
Do you leave like it... Do you feel like it's moist also?
No, it's not like moist. It's not like, like when you use other soaps that you feel like you don't feel clean. Sometimes I use some soaps and I'm like, you're just like putting more stuff in. Like, weird, right? You're like, it's crema. It's almost like...
And then like the regular commercial soaps, I had some left at home and I was using it because I don't have any soap.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I need to use this up.
Yeah.
And I just feel like after I have to put like so much lotion because I feel it dries my skin up so much. That's why I was like, because of the psoriasis, he has to use like a certain lotions and all that stuff. So I was wondering if it makes you feel moist.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know how to answer that. I just like it because it makes me feel clean, and I feel like I wear less deodorant when I use that soap.
Really?
Yeah,
I need to get that.
yeah. I feel like I don't know, because I'm telling you, like this past month, I've kind of been like, oh my god, when are you gonna finish soap so I can finally buy my black soap? So I bought it today.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
I
Well, anyway.
want to check it out.
Yeah, I'll post a picture on our Instagram page.
Is it good for kids?
You're asking too many questions.
I mean, you use it. I don't know.
I don't put it on my child. My child uses Willetta.
Oh yeah, he does.
Willetta. For the Willa. But he uses Willetta. Everything. I use Willetta soap, Willetta toothpaste, Willetta like rash cream. I use Willetta everything. I love that brand. I don't know. I just do. Anyway, that's our show for today, ladies. Thank you so much for another wonderful week.
Another wonderful week. Please don't forget to follow us on our social media at _Super Mamás on Instagram, Super Mamás Podcast on Facebook, at _ Super Mamás on Twitter, and on our website, supermamaspodcast.com. Also, do not forget to get your tickets for the Super Mamás Social, ladies.
Oh my God, yes.
It is only 4 weeks away. And we will see you there, supermamassocial.com. Get your tickets today. We're going to have so many fun things.
Oh my God, we have a huge surprise for you guys.
Huge surprise.
When you guys find out what's going to happen at the social and tickets are sold out, you're going to be like, why did I not get my tickets?
Are you talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce?
Don't ruin it for everybody. You mean the Beyonce and JC playlist we'll be having? No, I'm just kidding. There's not going to be Beyonce JC playlist.
No, we're not.
But we have a huge announcement for you guys coming soon. So please get your tickets.
Get your tickets today. supermamassocial.com.
Thank you, ladies, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Super Mamas!